Bill Mitchell, a lifelong resident from Westport, Connecticut, co-owner of Mitchell Stores, and Sacred Heart University trustee since 2002. For 3 generations, the Mitchell's family brand has been built upon strong relationships and extraordinary customer service. Bill Mitchell's ability to connect with people and form long-lasting relationships would one day be more than just good business. It would save his life.
My name is Bill Mitchell. I'm an alcoholic, and I've been introducing myself that way for over 28 years.
His life and his relationships with his family, friends, and business associates were unraveling.
It was not my idea to stop drinking. My wife actually ended up throwing an intervention at me with my children, my brother, sister-in-law, and I wanted to stop, but I didn't know how.
In recovery himself since 1990, Bill Mitchell has been a committed friend and mentor to several Sacred Heart University students who are currently in recovery and tireless advocates for recovery-related projects.
I've led a better life. I'm a better person today than I was back in 1990. Yeah, you know, part of the deal of recovery in AA is that I got to pay it forward. I had to continue to help others. And along my way in recovery, with that thought of helping others and being influenced by others in recovery, I met 2 young guys in recovery.
Well, for me, I guess, we like to say that, like, you know, we had alcoholism and drug addiction before we ever picked up the first drink.
You know, my family's pretty predisposed to substance abuse, so I always kind of had an idea that unfortunately somewhere along the line this might be in the equation. Dude, I was sticking a needle in my arm every single day, and I couldn't see that there was a problem. So when I was 23 years old is really when things hit a wall. I had shingles at one point in the middle of that, and my use just went through the roof. It was the first time in my adult life where I had really started to lose things. You know, I was losing my job, I was losing my apartment. I wasn't able to pay my bills anymore. I didn't have the support from my parents. They had pretty much cut me off. I was in a barn in Wilton, and I was sleeping in the attic of the barn. And every day I'd wake up out of my barn and I'd go, and I was a golfer, so I knew where the local country clubs were. And at that point in time, I'd go in and use some friend's name, and I'd swim in the pool, and I'd, you know, get a meal. And before I left, I was kind enough to go into the locker room and take everybody's keys. You know, it ended with me in the barn, and I overdosed one night. And you know, what an overdose looks like many different things, you know. I woke up, I went to sleep at 2 in the morning, and I woke up at 6 a.m. and, you know, I was crippled. You know, I was really in a bad spot. And you'd think that that would be the point where you say, okay, I'm gonna throw in the towel. You know, I can't keep going. But I kept it going, you know. I pulled my ass up, and I said I'm done, and then, you know, a few hours later I was back at another country club. I showed up at my parents' house, and I went to the back door, and my mom answered the door, and she said, I said, Mom, can you help me? She said, you're not my son died 2 years ago. So, I mean, that was a very tough situation for me to get past, but, you know, it wasn't the end.
The night where I decided to kind of come into recovery. Well, let me back up a little bit. There have been other times where I've wanted to get sober, and I've left school because of it. But when it came time to actually do it, I kind of chickened out. You know, I wasn't ready to give that up, and that was okay, because that just kind of meant to me I needed to feel more pain before I was ready to change. But yeah, for me, I like to read a lot of books on, you know, self-help, because I'm an addict, so if I'm gonna be sober, I want to be the best, you know, the best sober person that I could possibly be, you know, feel the best way. Is being sober, I'm actually starting to discover who I really am. which is amazing. You know, I was always afraid to do that, always trying to be someone else. But you know, I'm actually happy with who I am now, and I think that's awesome. I would describe myself as not happy, not sad. I have moments of happiness, I have moments of sadness. Content with life, you know? I think that content is the goal. To say you're happy all the time, you know, is a lie, because, you know, there are gonna be ups and downs in life. That's just a fact. That's just how it goes. So I wake up every morning happy, and you know, I wake up every morning ready to face the day. So.
I want to bring the word hope in. Hope. I mean, my story is a story of hope. I had no hope when I was out there. I got into recovery and I got hope one day at a time. Here I am 28 years later, commencing to fulfill a dream and a vision of mine for Sacred Heart, to put this program of recovery in Sacred Heart to give these kids a chance of life and learning.
There's very rarely like a safe place to get shelter from the chaos that's going on at school. I mean, a lot of us have experienced it, and we've been in situations, I mean, some of those parties are crazy, you know, and to have an environment where friends and peers can come together to support each other in a place that's okay and that's supported by the school, I mean, again, it's invaluable.
Several months ago, Bill Mitchell approached me about the possibility of the university engaging in a recovery program for addiction. And so when Bill asked that question, it's without hesitation that I said, we're in. Bill, for me, has been an example of what it means to pay it forward and not to look for anything in return. The steps we take here this evening really are but the first steps in a long journey. It's a journey that we need to walk with our students. It's a journey that we need to let them know that we are there with them. And because of your help, hope will always be alive.